Coach, we'll start you off with a few questions. First question, how does it feel to reach a major goal of being a collegiate head coach at the age of 30?
Well, I'm thankful to have this opportunity. I'm blessed to have this opportunity. I'm very humbled to have the opportunity to do this at the school in which I chose as a student athlete. But I think that it's bigger than that. I think it's bigger than me. I think it's more about our university, our staff, and our young men that we're coaching.
Not only are you new on the job, but you've brought in several new faces to your staff. Can you tell us a little bit about the new arrivals, as well as the veteran members of your staff who are back with the Jackets this year?
I'm excited about this staff. We brought our whole defensive staff back, which is huge from a continuity standpoint. Coach Vinik will be back as the DC. We were able to promote a GA, John Sikora, who will be a full-time linebacker, special teams coordinator now. We'll have our D-line coach back, who's been great. The guys love playing for him. He really rallies the guys. Offensively is where we'll see some new faces. We brought in Eric Faust, who's a longtime high school coach. I was fortunate enough to play for him at Laurel Valley. He coached me. And then we got some really young guys that are familiar to the conference. Zach Sterling from Bethany spent some time there, as well as Brian Radakovich that was with Coach Bloom at Teal. These guys are older, younger guys, and they're really sharp. We're really fortunate to bring them on board.
Let's turn to the roster. One of the biggest questions with Waynesburg in 2017 is who will win the starting job at quarterback between former all-conference player Jake Doherty and Tyler Perrone, especially with Aaron Jenkins moving to wide receiver. What will you most be looking for in determining a starting quarterback when camp gets going?
2 years ago, Jake had a really good year as a freshman. He played a lot of football. It was an unfortunate injury at Carnegie Mellon last year where he broke his collarbone. Tyler Perrone came in and did some really good things that we were excited about. Both of them do a lot of really good things. So that'll be a good battle, but we're also excited. We're going to have 8 quarterbacks in camp. So we brought some good young guys in that we're really excited about, and it's going to be an even playing field. Opportunities are going to be equal, and the guy that wins the job will be based off of production, but we also want that guy to have that strong locker room presence as well.
While the quarterback position at Waynesburg features plenty of experience, most of the remainder of your offense is very young. Give us some thoughts on how you see some of those other positional battles shaking out during camp.
I think at the running back position, I think we got a lot of guys that can contribute. The way it's been in the past, where guys are getting 30, 35 carries a game, I think that the game has kind of transitioned to being more of a by committee, which I see our running back position going. We're not that young at running back. We got guys with some substantial experience. We had Austin Wilson 2 years ago, played as a freshman. He had a back injury last year, didn't come out to play last year. He's going to be back on the team. And then we got Chad Walker, who's a guy that got a lot of reps last year, as well as Benny Ciro, who's a tough kid, and he runs hard. So I see that being a by committee thing at the running back position. In the wide receiving core, we made a couple moves in the spring with some older guys on defense over to the offense, and they really provided us with a lot of good things in the receiving core. So we're excited about that. We got a young guy that's seen limited reps last year as a freshman that we have very high expectations for, Bobby Grishaber. We really think that he can do some good things for us. Where we're most excited, is on the offensive line. I've been around Waynesburg football since 2005, and I don't know if we've had this good of an offensive line recruiting class, as well as having a fifth-year senior back and another senior that was going to do the engineering program and change his mind. He decided to come back for his last year. So we got a lot of good things going on the offensive line, and that's not typical. We're all us coaches in here, we're all trying to find offensive linemen. That's always the thing that you're looking for, and we're really excited about it, and we're fortunate about that position.
Coach, last question for you. When it comes to the defense, how important are veterans like Brent sitting next to you, Tristan Sandrosky and Justin Wilco heading into this fall?
These guys are our heartbeat. These guys make us go on the field, in the weight room, away from the field, on campus. These guys are guys that, we hold to high expectations because of the type of guys that they are. We're fortunate enough to have the opportunity to coach these young men and to be around these guys on a regular basis. So we're excited to get this thing started with all the changes. We're excited to have these guys as leaders to get us moving in this right direction.
Coach, thank you. Good job. Brent, a couple questions for you. You made the choice to go from Division II at Seton Hill to Division III at Waynesburg. For you, what's the biggest difference that you've enjoyed during that change?
Yeah, so the choice for me to make that move and transfer down a division was never the competition level. So actually, my mother was terminally ill, and I decided to make the transfer right when she passed away from cancer. So when I made that transfer, I wanted to get closer to home. So I'd have to say that the most thing that I enjoy with being at Waynesburg is obviously the family that I've adopted there through the football program, and being closer to my family at home, being that I live in Washington County.
Last year, you led the Yellow Jackets in tackles and received honorable mention, all PAC accolades. What have you been doing in the offseason to continue your improvement on the field?
Yeah, that's all great that I received those accolades, but we weren't where we needed to be as a team standpoint. So, I'm more concerned with that and getting our team to where we need to be. As far as myself, I dealt with a couple of minor injuries last year, to where it would limit my practice capabilities. So I've really been focused on trying to become a more durable player, and getting some extra runs in, like a mile or 2 miles here and there, getting some extra sets in the gym just to get my durability and my agility up to really get through these games, and so, I can be in practice at all times.
You, along with Tristan Sandrosky, another senior linebacker, are two of the most experienced members of the 2017 defense. Do you feel added pressure this year to take a bigger leadership role as a proven senior on that defense?
Tristan's actually one of my great friends inside the football environment and outside the football environment. He's one of my workout partners. We really push each other. We bring great energy to the weight room and all the other guys that are around us. And we've actually talked about this before. I don't feel any more pressure as the leadership standpoint, because I feel like I stepped up into a big leadership role last year as I was a captain the whole year. I feel the pressure coming from getting the guys around me to step up and realize that it takes 11 guys and, everybody's going to fit into the part like a puzzle.
Under defensive coordinator Scott Vanek, Waynesburg defenses have typically been known for their outstanding defensive lines. This year, the front looks to be a little bit younger and more experienced than usual. How important is it for the linebackers and defensive backs to be on the top of the game while that line comes together?
Well, that's going to be really important for us there. But as any football guy knows, it starts up front. So like I said, it takes 11 guys on the field, and I'm not going to be able to do my job at linebacker if my D-line isn't doing their job up front, and the guys behind me in the secondary can't do their job if I'm not doing my job. So, obviously it's going to start with those guys up front, and, if there's going to be younger guys in that rotation that haven't got any playing time in the past, that us experienced veteran guys need to make sure we do a good job at getting those guys up to par and catching them up with our mission and what's going on here.
Brent, last question. I like to ask this too, especially to the seniors. What do you see this team needing to do to return to the upper half of the PAC standings this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've said this since day one. We need to finish, whether we're in the weight room, whether we're on the field running our last sprint, whether we're, eating our food on our plate. We need to finish. If you got one bite left, you got to finish it. If you need 1 yard, you got to finish it. If you got to make that tackle, you got to finish it. So, that's one big model that we're going to take into this season is finishing. So.
Thanks, Brent. Waynesburg will get its season underway on September 2nd at Muskingum University.